Solving a linear equation can be broken down into 3 steps. The first one is to simplify on each side by removing grouping symbols and combining like terms. And then we will solve for x. And then the third step is always to check your answer. So let's get started on the first example. We have 2 times x minus 4 minus 5x is equal to negative 5. So our first step is to simplify each side by removing the grouping symbols. So we'll want to find our innermost parentheses and work outward. So we need to distribute this 2. So we'll have 2 times x and then 2 times negative 4. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 4 is negative 8. And then we have minus 5x is equal to negative 5. So now we want to group all like terms. So we've got an x there and an x there. So we have 2x minus 5x. Now remember that I love to draw my number line to help me from there. So I've got 0, 1, 2. So here I am at 2. Always put a negative and positive sign, knowing that positive goes in this direction to the right. So I'll put an arrow that direction. So negative, when you're going on the number line, goes to the left. So I'm at 2. And I have to subtract 5. So I look at my ledger and it says subtraction goes to the left. So 2, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm at negative 1, 2, 3. So I know that that is negative 3. Now I realize that wasn't a hard thing to subtract, but it's just it's easy to get in the habit of doing the number line if you're on a test, just to double check yourself. Always make sure it's super quick, super easy. Sometimes I just draw one at the top of the page on my math test, and I go back to it whenever I have negative numbers and I don't have a calculator. So anyway, back to this. I grouped my like terms with x, so I still have negative 8. So that'll go next. So negative 3x minus 8 is equal to negative 5. Now we have this into the most simple form it can be in. So from there, our next step is to solve for x. Solving for x means getting x on one side, the numbers on the other. We start with addition and subtraction. So here I see x being subtracted by 8. I want to do the opposite of subtraction, which is addition. So we add 8 to cancel that out. Whatever you do to one side, you must do to the other. So now I've got negative 5. So I'm up here with negative 5, and I need to add 8. So I look at my ledger, go to the right for adding. So add 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'm at 3. So negative 5 plus 8 is 3. So negative 3x is left on the left side equal to 3. I need to get x by itself. So whatever is being done to x will do the opposite. X is being multiplied by negative 3. So I will divide by negative 3. That cancels it out. Then I'll have x is equal to, now we know 3 divided by 3 is 1, and a negative divided by a positive is a negative. So we have negative 1. Third step is always to check your answer. So I'll take the value I found for x, plug it back into the original equation. So in my original equation, which is right here, everywhere I see an x, I'll replace it with negative 1. So I've got 2 times negative 1 minus 4 minus 5 times negative 1 is supposed to be equal to negative 5. Now we just simplify and solve from here. So we'll say 2 times negative 1 minus 4. So up here is my negative 1, and to subtract means you go to the left. Go to the left 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm at negative 5 minus 5 times negative 1 is going to give you a negative 5, but I've already got a negative out here. So you can say positive 5. Another way of looking at that is saying negative 5 times negative 1 is equal to positive 5. And then we have it equal to negative 5. So now I need to distribute this side. 2 times negative 5 is negative 10 plus 5 is supposed to be equal to negative 5. Negative 10 plus 5, and that one's real easy. We can just think of negative 10 being over here. 10 plus 5 would put us back at negative 5. So negative 5 is equal to negative 5. So we know we have that one correct. We'll move on to the next example. The first step is to simplify on each side by removing the grouping symbols and combining like terms. So we'll want to distribute first. So 2 times x and 2 times negative 3. So we have 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6. And we'll bring down this. Minus 17 is equal to 13 minus, we need to distribute this one as well. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is equal to 6. It's negative 3 times 2, I'm sorry. Now we need to combine like terms. So let's find our like terms. On this side, we just have one x, so we have 2x. Now we have minus 6 minus 7. So we have negative 6 minus 17. Now again, you will want to use your number line to solve that, but for time we'll say that we drew the number line and we have it to equal to negative 23 is equal to, group the like terms on here. So again, we just have 1x, but we have 13 minus 6 is 7 minus 3x. So now we need to solve for x. To solve for x, we get all the numbers on one side and the letters on the other. So we need to isolate x. To do that, we'll start with addition and subtraction. So I see x is being subtracted by 23, so I want to do the opposite, which is addition. Canceling that out. Whatever you do to one side, do to the other. So 7 plus 23 is 30. So now I've gotten the numbers onto this side, which means I want to get the x, the variable, on the other. So we will get negative 3x over to the other side. So it's being subtracted. Again, we want to do the opposite, so we will add 3x to get it off of this side. Whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. So add 3x over here. So that's going to give us 5x is equal to 30. We want to get x by itself. X is being multiplied by 5, so we want to divide. Canceling that out, 30 divided by 5 is going to give you 6. So we found the value of x to be 6. We want to check our answer by plugging in the value that we found back into the original equation. So wherever there is an x, we'll put a 6. So we'll start off with 2 times, so it's x, we'll say 6 minus 3 minus 17 is equal to 13 minus 3 times 6 plus 2. So we'll start with our parentheses and work outwards. So 2 times 6 minus 3 is 3. Minus 17 is equal to 13. Minus 3 times 6 plus 2 is 8. So now we'll distribute. 3 times 2 is 6. Minus 17 is equal to 13. Minus 3 times 8 is 24. So we'll say 6 minus 17. Again, you'll want to use your number line, but for time, we'll just say we did, and it's negative 11 is equal to 13 minus 24, which is also negative 11. So we know that that answer is correct.